So here we are at another week. Another week. I have had a wonderful weekend of clearing out and making space, and I found these. They were just images from, and coincidentally, from the 22nd of May 2018, 5 years ago. Oh my goodness, 5 years ago. When I was mourning the loss of my mum still, and this was a page that I created before I knew anything about Smashbooking, about her life. So I'm just going to move that because I found these wanted to come onto the page today. But where I wanted to begin was, how are we starting our week? How are we starting our week? How am I showing up to my new page? And what's really interesting is when I create Smashbook, I love all these drippy bits. I love all these drippy bits, but sometimes what happens is you get a little bit of one page that has come apart. And so before I start, and I was reflecting on this before I began, I was thinking, isn't it interesting, what wants to happen at the start of this week, before I dive into this new page even, there's some, I just need to put this piece back. I need to put things in place. It's a little bit of maybe it's a repair, maybe it's just, healing that wound, and how interesting that, my Celebrate Life page wanted to be seen. So I'm just putting that piece back in place. So here's my prompt. Here's my question for today. Is how am I starting? How am I starting my week? How am I starting my week? How am I showing up? And I've had a really good, sort of interestingly, I thought I was wanting to start down here. Apparently I'm going to start up here. Here I am at the start of my week. And how interesting. I've drawn this little space, and my subconscious is telling me, my conscious is going, yeah, we've had a really good weekend. We've had a really good weekend. I've cleared out, I've sorted out, my studio's looking amazing. But interestingly enough, my subconscious is telling me, well, we're still a bit wobbly. There's still, there's still some work to be done. And that's okay. A bit wobbly. I'm still a bit sort of, oh my goodness, what is going on? So that's okay. I'm still a bit wobbly. It's a little bit wobbly. So there you go. How do I want to feel? How do I want to be? How do I want to be at the end of my week? You know what? I want to be over here. I want to be over here, and given that I have, my subconscious is saying, well, it's still a little bit wibbly, I'm choosing to create a smoother shape. This is how I want to be by the end of the week. And then there's going to be, and you go, well, how do I get there? How lovely. I would like to go from there to there in one gigantic leap. But life doesn't, can I get from there to there in one go? Probably not. You know, we get to do some work, and that feels huge. The gap's too, the divide is too big. I can't go from here to here in one go. So what we get to do is we get to, okay, maybe it's a little bit wobbly. Not quite. We're smoothing out those edges. That's always going to feel an awkward one because it's right over that join. And we're getting there by the end of the week. And that feels achievable now. I feel that I could go from feeling a little bit all over the place to there, and then I can come, I sort of can leapfrog. I want to leap, I want to jump, you know, but I can do these little jumps. Isn't it interesting? Look, that big one has even got a gap in it. And you go, no, I can't do it. I can't do it in one go. But I can go from stepping stone. Are they stepping stones? The frog wants to come in, so they might be sort of funny shaped lily pads. Maybe I found this picture of a butterfly as I was just sorting through some. I'm thinking, what images want to come to this page as I'm thinking about how am I showing up this week, and this was a surprise. That I will say, this was a surprise. I thought I was feeling, yay, I got what, you know, I know what I'm doing, and I'm all sorted, and my subconscious is going, you know, what else do we need to look at, because I'm still feeling a bit wobbly. So I'm showing up as a butterfly. Perhaps these are flowers. Perhaps these are flowers. Perhaps these are flowers. And how beautiful is this? There's this gorgeous picture of a beetle. And so I'm going to bring my beetle. And there is one of my favourite poems was an A.A. Milne poem. Nanny let my beetle out. And and that makes me laugh. That makes me laugh. So here I'm already receiving some messages, some words that go with these images that want to come up. Remember, my question is, how am I starting my week? How am I starting? And how am I oh, look at that. How am I starting my week? Bit wobbly. How am I showing up? Here's how I'm showing up. How am I going to get? How do I get from here to here? I do it in little steps. And what are those steps? What does beetle and butterfly want to tell me about how, so I get to be resourced. How am I resourced? What are my resources? What have I got? What are my resources? What have I got in the tank? What have I got? You know, what have I got already, and what do I need? So I am going to show up. That butterfly is gentle in movement. You know, butterflies are they are still when they're collecting that nectar. Oh, there. Okay, breathe. There's a gentleness. They are still when they are receiving that nectar. So there's something about this week. I get to find those still points. So gentleness, stillness. But then that butterfly moves. They don't stay on that one flower. So I get to be in movement. What does beetle want to say? Look at beetle. Look how shiny that beetle is. So there's some shining. Shining wants to come over here. Shining. And of course, a beetle. Beetles are very resourceful. They they eat up. They're nourished by what anybody else would consider to be rubbish. They help. They help with decay. What's the words I want there? I'm prepared to do the work. I'm prepared to do a little bit of digging. And that is so I'm willing. There's a willingness that I'm bringing to my week. There's a willingness to do the work. Willingness to do the work. To do the work required. To sort of to beetle away. I use, so what is beetle saying? Use the natural resources around you. Use what you have. Use what you have around you. And then you get to shine. Create and listen is a beautiful time for me in my week, because while I am here showing up and doing my work, I always, although I might have a sort of a little glimmer of what I want to talk about, what I want to say today, there is always a deep message for me within this process. This is why I do this process. My butterfly and beetle are going to come back to my page in a moment. I want to have something about this celebrate life, and it's use what you have around you. Use what you have, and there's that celebrate. Let's have that. This is how I'm showing up. I'm showing up in celebration of a tidy studio where I can find my resources, because I have checked in, I have reconnected with the multitude of things that I have out here. So there's a sense of sort of a little bit of stock taking. A little bit of stock taking. What do I have? What do I have at my disposal right now? How am I going to move? How am I going to move? What have I got? What have I got in the... It's sort of, those days when you go, oh, what shall I make for tea? And you go, what have I got in the cupboard? What's in my cupboard? These resources are how I am being. There's a gentleness and a stillness. I get to be in movement. So let's do a little bit of stock taking. Take stock. What have I got? Take stock. What's in your cupboard? Am I filled? Am I filled? Is my stock cupboard empty, or do I feel full? Is the cupboard empty? Ooh. Is the cupboard empty? When did I last fill up? Am I Am I connected? Am I celebrating? Am I in gratitude? In gratitude for everything that I have. In gratitude for, you know, this was me 5 years ago, but that was a very painful time. You know, I was still mourning, I was still grieving. And I can remember writing those words and finding it hard to feel that I could celebrate. But here I am now 5 years later. So am I celebrating? Am I in gratitude for everything? Around me. I'm just going to add a little bit more colour. Let's get from these stepping stones so that let's colour them in. What should we have? I'm loving the colours that I've got on that on my Celebrate Life. I love those colours. So let's have those colours. Those colours are going to get me from one stepping stone to the next. And I think sometimes what happens is, you know, I want to go from here to here in one go, and it's too big and it's too much of a leap and I can't see what I'm doing. Whereas if we take, you know, this feels achievable. All I need to do is get from here to here, and that's cool. That's easy. Let's do the one next easy step. Making sure that we're resourced. Is there something I need from somebody else? Do I you know, do I need to look elsewhere? Is there somebody I need to call? Could I call a friend and go, gosh, do you know what? You know, 5 years ago, this is where I was. Thank you for being with me on that journey. Let's you know, anchor that gratitude. And this step, this one feels a bit awkward, you know, and that's okay. There's going to be steps that we get to go on. You know, we can go, oh, this was nice and easy. This one feels a little bit of a stretch and it feels a little bit awkward. But it's an important step. What other colours have I got in there? I've got a sort of purpley blue. So let's have a bit more purple. And can you know, what's coming to me now is I have everything I need. I'm not even making the decision about the colours. The colours, I'm going, oh, what have I got on here? Oh, let's use what we've got. You know, we don't have to rush out and buy the next latest shiny object. We have everything we need. But sometimes we just need a little bit of help to work out what that looks like. What's the other colour that I've got in there? A sort of more of a red. Let's have a look. Let's have that one. And you know, I'm really celebrating. This is how I am going to feel at the end of my week. I can celebrate with joy and gratitude and I can go, yay, I made it. You know, and reflecting back, you know, I wonder what all these lines are. You know, what will be uncovered and revealed as I move through the week. Okay. So how am I starting my week? A bit wobbly. how am I showing up? Here's how I'm showing up. Here's how I'm showing up. This wants to be, and just go with whatever comes up for you, you know. Go. And at the moment I'm going, I have no idea why I have this big red sort of, what does it feel like? It feels like a dahlia. But that will, you know, I can keep coming back to this page during the week, and I can add to it. I can look at it and go, you know, especially when I get to this one that feels a little bit awkward. I get to celebrate. I get to celebrate life. And I want to do some more work around beetle. Beetle has shown up for me in the past. So, where does beetle want to go? I think beetle is going to come and this is, you know, just when you have images, it's okay to sort of move them around a bit and go, where do you want to go? Where do you want to go on the page? And I still don't feel I've got beetle and butterfly the right way round. So what comes first? Oh, there we go. What comes first? Well, what comes first is the gentleness and the stillness of butterfly, as the butterfly fills up and is nourished. And then I'm able to do the work of beetle. Look how beetle matches the yellow and the purple there. Beetle is going to get me from the bit that feels uncomfortable. There's going to be some work to go from here to here. But beetle can do that. Beetle's going to help me there. Remember, beetle made me laugh. So there's going to be some laughter coming in. But look what comes first. What comes first is the stillness and the gentleness of butterfly. Wow.